Hello, and a very warm welcome to another Tuesdays at 2. Each Tuesday at 2 p.m., I come on live talking about a different topic relating to career management, executive career management. This is episode number 168. So you can see how long I've been doing this a lot. And I love sharing my knowledge on executive career management with you, the viewer, people across the world. So today's topic is really exciting because I like talking about this. How does an executive recruiter find me? Recruiters can play a huge role in your executive career management, but you need to be on their radar. But how do they find you if you're not on their radar? So this is a good topic for you to digest today because it's a very crucial element in your overall career management. So, firstly, they work for their clients. They don't work for you, they work for their clients and they are paid by the client. So, if anybody approaches you and said, I can get you a job, I'm a recruiter, but pay me, run fast as you can, get out of there. Because that's totally unethical, and he's not a very good recruiter. Well, won't be a recruiter. So, how do they find you to for these particular jobs? So a client sends them specifications, they go into negotiations, they detail it down and what they're looking for, skill sets, hard skills, soft skills, length of service, and all sorts of different things, and the salary range. And then the recruiter then goes to market. He creates a project and then sends that out. So, how do they find you? Number one, they look for you in their internal recruitment firm database. How do you get on that database? Well, I would suggest that you go to my YouTube channel and please press a subscribe button where there are a few videos on how to get on their radar. Because everyone watching today and watching the replay, will have to be on their radar and have to be within their own internal database. That's very, very important. That recruitment firm database. So when they're looking for talent like you, then your resume will come out the other end. And then every time you update your resume, and there again, there's multiple videos on resumes and how to update them and how to put them on executive recruiters databases on my YouTube channel. You need to update it every time you send it to the new one to the executive recruiter. So they look for you on their database. And then if they can't find you there, they go on to LinkedIn. This is another important reason why you need to be on LinkedIn. Don't have a half hearted skeleton LinkedIn. The more text you put on LinkedIn, the more you're going to be found by not just executive recruiters, but other HR professionals looking for talent just like you. So they go on to LinkedIn and they search, they set in the criteria, and they have a totally different LinkedIn to what you and I have. They have the recruiters version, which is a very, very deep dive database, and they can pinpoint it down to almost your zip code, your postal code, or anything else. That is that detailed. So the more you put in there, the better it is, you're more that you're going to be found. So if you're already on their database, their internal recruitment database, and then you're active and you've got fully complete LinkedIn profile, you are probably going to be found. And then they also go today, they're looking at Facebook. Facebook is becoming an increasingly good tool for sourcing candidates. And then Twitter, or X as they call it now. So make sure you are very professional on all the platforms, and make sure that you are active on those platforms. So, number one, they look for talent within their own database. Number two, they go on to social media, in particular LinkedIn. And then number three, they call the competitors. So, if you're in let's use a bank in each country where you're watching from, doesn't matter where you're watching from, there are competitors. There's not just one bank. There are several banks. So if they're looking for say a VP of risk management in that with a specialty in the banking environment, they go to the competition. They look at the other banks and they look to see who is either a director or a current VP at those banks. And then they see if they can contact them and call them and invite them to become part of that talent pool. So you need to be really active on LinkedIn. You need to have your resume, your CV posted or implanted in their database, their recruitment firm database. And then if you are called by an executive recruiter, this is something that people, it bamboozles me. They say, no, I'm not really interested in having a conversation with you. Never, ever, ever turn down an invitation from an executive recruiter. Even if you don't want that job and you're happy and you're enjoying your job and you're challenged and whatever, always have have a conversation with that executive recruiter, because you're building that relationship possibly for another year or two down the road. So you need to be on LinkedIn and Facebook. You need to be in their database, and then you need to be ready to accept a call, even though you might not be in that position. So, anybody got any comments on today's topic or anything that's to do with databases? And then to do with executive recruiters. And then the fourth and final one is they tend to sometimes they frequent industry skill specific conferences or chapter meetings. So make sure you attend conferences, and if they're there, go up and introduce they're there in person. You can't get better than that. So go up and introduce yourself, shake their hand, smile, and don't force your resume or your business card into their hand straight away. Build dialogue, build some conversation, and then say, may I offer you my resume, and here's my business card. And then also send it to their email so it goes internally to their database. So 4 key things on how they find you, how an executive recruiter finds you. They look on their own internal database, their recruitment firm database. They look on social media, in particular LinkedIn, and then they go to the competitors and they look for the people either lateral or somebody who they think could be promoted, who's got maybe 4 or 5 years in the director role, and who could be promoted to vice president of risk management. And then they attend conferences. So you really need to embrace executive recruiters into your overall career management. So now they've got their talent pool. They build that talent pool. So they normally, some do it 30 or 40 people, 30, 40 candidates, and then they start scaling it back. And they don't call everybody. They do a lot more research. They've got all the resumes, and if it's a resume that's not too good, you tend to go out. You need to have a really 2024 ATS, applicant tracking system resume, and then they build that, and then they research, and then they start scaling back, and then they start the interviews about each recruiter operates differently. Maybe the 15 candidates, maybe the 12 candidates, maybe the top 10 candidates they think are eligible for that particular job coming from their client. And they scale it back even further after those interviews, and then maybe interview 5 or 6 or 7, and then they send 4 or 5, depending on the contract with the client. They send 4 or 5, maybe 6 candidates that they think with an extensive profile of that candidate to their clients for then a further interview with the future employer who is currently their client. So and then they hand it over, and then they help the client with various logistics and whatever, and the final choice, they maybe have a conversation on the final 2 or final 3, and then that person is chosen. Doesn't happen overnight. You can see the length. It takes a long time. A recruitment and executive recruitment can take up to 4 months, depending on the client's request. but there is a way to get in fast, and that's an interim recruitment. So that's becoming very hot. A lot of executive recruitment firms now are having their separate practice, an interim practice. So you could be recruited tomorrow morning. I've had calls on my, because I have a huge database. I've had calls, find me a CFO, find me this, find me that. And they're looking for talent to start tomorrow morning. So in other words, you have to be in career transition and ready to adapt to tomorrow morning. So unless anybody got any questions on career management, doesn't have to be related to today's topic, executive recruiters, but there is far more information on my YouTube channel. So please go to my YouTube channel and press the subscribe button, and then also press the bell button where you will be notified of all future videos to come. And I'm actually about to shoot some this upcoming weekend. So, and if you want me to shoot a video on something that's you don't know about in executive career management, shoot me a message. I'm going to put my email on there. You can shoot me a message on there, and I'm more than happy to shoot a video on your particular topic that you don't know too much about in executive career management. And anybody wants a free, no obligation, no sales pitch resume or a CV critique, I'm more than happy to give you 30 minutes of my time over Zoom. We go through it from top to bottom, but I do say it as it is. I'm very, very realistic and very hard, because one mistake, one character wrong, one bullet wrong, one line wrong in today's world, when it's not read by human beings, it's read by scanning machinery initially, you can count yourself out of a job where you are the perfect candidate, 120%, but because you don't have the ATS resume, you're counting yourself out. So I'm more than happy to give anybody a free resume critique. If we don't have any more any comments or whatever, I don't know what next week's topic is, but I will be back next Tuesday for another Tuesdays at 2. Take this tip. Do something to manage your career between today and next Tuesday. Manage it 24/7, 365. Those that do advance their careers, earn more money, and can retire earlier. I will see you next Tuesday at 2 p.m. for another 2 Tuesdays at 2.